Thank you for joining us tonight on the program. We apologize for starting behind schedules. Tonight, we examine the FCT area council elections held on Saturday, where the All Progressives Congress emerged victorious at the polls. I am Abosede Adeniran standing in for Nifemi Oguntoye. In the aftermath of the elections, a faction of the People's Democratic Party has constituted a dedicated legal panel to contest the outcome of Saturday's chairmanship and councillorship elections across the area councils of the Federal Capital Territory. The PDP alleged armed security personnel removal of result sheets from polling units. They also alleged that intimidated voters and influenced the collation process. According to results released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the All Progressives Congress secured 5 of the 6 chairmanship positions. Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has described the just concluded area council elections as a clear demonstration that Nigerians can distinguish the governing party from the real opposition. The APC clinched victory in Abuja Municipal Area Council, Amak, Abaji, Buhari, Kwali, and Kuje, while the PDP emerged victorious in Gwagwalada. Minister of the FCT, in a special address to residents of the Capital Territory, said the performance of APC at the election reflects growing public confidence in the policies and programs of President Bola Tinubu, commending voters for their turning up for the elections on Saturday. Now, my guest on the program today, Jungudo Mohammed, National Publicity Secretary of the PDP. He joins me from Abuja studio, while Public Affairs Analyst Yusuf Haroun joins me in VASM. Gentlemen, good to have you. Let me begin with you, Mr. Mohammed. We see the PDP celebrating its win in Gwagwalada, but that is just 1 out of 6. Why celebrate 1 victory out of 6 in the just concluded FCT Council elections?
Yes, good evening, and thank you for having me in your studios. Ordinarily, it shouldn't call for celebrations, but considering how Nigerians have written PDP off and considering the internal problems facing the party at this particular point in time, I think winning an area council and a considerable number of councillorship seats is something to celebrate. When you look at other opposition parties that have made so much noise that they were going to win all the 6 area councils, ended up without winning 1 area council. So for us in the PDP, it is something that calls for celebration. And we are happy with this. And if you recall, a lot of people had even thought that PDP can never even be on the ballot in the 2027 general elections. So, but this area council election is a testimony, is an indication that the party will be on the ballot and the party will contest keenly with APC and other opposition political parties. So for us, it is...
all right, Mr. Mohammed, let's hear from the public affairs analyst. Dr. Haroun, let's talk about the significance of the election, even as we count down to the 2027 elections.
So there was a significant turnout, improvement of votes in 2026 compared to 2022. We can see now that in 2022, we had about 148,685 votes. But on Saturday, that's just a few days ago, 2026, we had a larger voter turnout of about 239,000. This shows that the people are different from what we see online. And that is what the Minister of FCT said. We also see the strategic statement the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, did publicly by thanking Nyesom Wike. President Tinubu might look old in appearance, but he's cerebral in thoughts and is strategic in his plans. I'm going to say this publicly, which I've said multiple times. Only God can not make President Tinubu win 2027 election. It's a done deal. Even those who were against him in 2023, you can see them even campaigning for him now. Good example is Reno Omokri. You see many of them, voila, many of those who opposed Tinubu in 2023, they are at the forefront campaigning for him. So this election in the FCT is a masterstroke. FCT is a PDP state, or it's dominated by PDP votes. But we can see gradually they are tilting or going towards APC, and this is what you call grassroots politics. And that is what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. I, as an analyst, I'm not a political office holder, but I am very, very participant in politics, and I support what APC is doing. Yet there may be many shortfalls. On the long run, the turnout might not be as encouraging as we want, but it is better than what we had 4 years ago. So this is significant.
Dr. Haroun.
And also, we know that the election was relatively free, fair, and credible.
Well, INEC mentions that, and some parties have equally said that. But going back to Mr. Mohammed at this time, you were celebrating your party's win in Gwagwalada and in some council areas. But there is a faction of your party that has set up a legal team and is heading to the court contesting the outcome of the election. How do you view that?
Well, I keep on saying that every citizen of the country has a constitutional right to do whatever he wants to do within the confines of the law. But as for us in the PDP, we do not know of anything called faction. The courts have made a clear judgment, and INEC, in compliance with that court judgment, have equally made a statement. So I don't know which faction you are talking about. Those people parading themselves are doing so in disobedience to a subsisting court judgment. So for us, we have not constituted any legal team to pursue any tribunal cases. For us, at the moment, we are concentrating on rebuilding the party. We have so much in our hands. Our hands are full. So many legal issues, so many reconciliatory efforts. So we will not want to dissipate our energy trying to pursue another legal issues at the tribunal.
So you mean you have no hand in this statement, Mr. Mohammed? You have no hand in this statement coming from that group contesting the outcome of the election?
It's coming from impostors. It's coming from some impostors claiming to be members of the National Working Committee of the party. And I think the law enforcement agents should swing into action. That is a contempt of court. The court has made a clear pronouncement, and it is surprising that Mr. Ini, as a lawyer, is acting in this funny manner. So for us, we are not willing to challenge the outcome of this election at the tribunal. We are okay with the conduct. We want to forge ahead as a party. We want to rebuild, we want to reconstruct, we want to reconcile. We have so much in our hands. We cannot, digress our attentions from what is really, really important. Elections have come and gone. We are looking at the bigger picture. We are looking at the bigger elections before the party. And my other colleague there saying nobody can defeat Asiwaju. Well, let's wait for the time. After our reconciliation, our convention, I can tell him that we'll give Mr. Asiwaju a run for his money and possibly
the world is
even
watching.
defeat him.
Mr. Mohammed, the world is watching and wait to see what PDP pulls out. Because even at this stage, there are lots of questions being asked about whether the PDP is united as a party. And you yourself had, inferred the fact that there had been doubt about whether the PDP would actually have candidates in next year's general elections. Dr. Haroun, you have heard about is it controversy, would call it now, group within the PDP choosing to contest this election, and we have another group saying, no, we are satisfied with the conduct and the outcome of this election, and these people are mere impostors. What does that say about this party, and how do you see the political atmosphere, the opposition, going into the 2027 general election?
You see, I laugh out loud when we see opposition not even united. There's a common saying that a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. So you can see the opposition is not even ready for 2027. 2027 is just few months away. They are not ready for this. And that's why I'm saying it's a clear sale for Asiwaju because of the strategy. If they are united, then we can be concerned, but they are disunited. Even among the PDP, you can see different factions. Now, the main players or the main politicians in PDP are no more in PDP, or they are supporting Asiwaju. One of them is Atiku Abubakar. He is one of the greatest threats. Even Asiwaju himself said it in 2023, that his greatest political rival who was contesting against him was Atiku. Atiku is not in PDP. Peter Obi is another great threat. He is not in PDP. He's not even in Labour Party. And Nyesom Wike, who is a very strong asset, is supporting Asiwaju, and he said it publicly that what all his supporters, all PDP members should vote for APC, and in 2027, they should vote for Asiwaju. So
That
this
is
is
an
the
appeal.
strategy I'm talking about.
That is an appeal you're making, but you know what? Each political party would tell you that they have their stronghold, they have representatives, they're going into the election united and all. But let's go back to Mr. Mohammed. We are where we are now. We know that the Federal Capital Territory, really, before now appeared to be the stronghold of the PDP. But this last council elections is such a great test, and to see how PDP performed in that election. Many are even saying that the victory recorded in Gwagwalada was, something to be extra grateful for, because the PDP itself did not exactly seem to have worked for it. It was due to some other factors that simply worked in your favor. Would you say this is pure luck, or was there anything unique, anything special the PDP did?
This is not sheer luck. It is the groundwork of our members who are in the Gwagwalada Area Council. And it also has to do with the credibility of the candidate we fielded as the chairman of Gwagwalada Area Council. So our members have done tremendous work. They stayed all through, they campaigned massively, and they made sure that their votes were counted. So it is not sheer luck, it is a result of hard work by party members across the Gwagwalada Area Council in particular, and across the FCT. So if you look at the general statistics, you will see that PDP indeed maintains a very solid structure, very solid foundation. It is only that we are facing a minor setback due to internal disputes and misunderstandings, which is normal in politics. Even APC as such today, when you go to states like places like Bauchi, where I come from, they held congresses, I think some few days ago, and you could see how they were having parallel results coming from the congresses. So it is normal with political parties to have misunderstandings, but for us, why we are hopeful is because of our determination to play by the rules. It is because of our determination to pursue genuine reconciliation. And that is why our forthcoming convention is one which we believe will be all-inclusive, and all those who were aggrieved one way or the other will all come back, because PDP is PDP, and there is no political party today in Nigeria that can boast of the followership and structure of the PDP. So I can tell you that 2027 will be a real election year, and we shall turn the hands of the clock by the grace of God.
Earlier, you regarded and called imposters the Turaki-led team that released that statement contesting the outcome of the election and planning to go to court. Are you planning to take any steps to actualize some of the things you said need to be done, that perhaps law enforcement agents even need to go after them?
And pardon, you said about?
I'm talking about the fact that earlier you referred to the Turaki-led team who released that statement contesting the outcome of the election and saying they would go to court as imposters, and that you also made a point that they should actually be fished out and dealt with, if I may paraphrase what you said. So I was just asking, are you willing to take a step further to see that happen?
Yes, we will look at the possibilities of petitioning the relevant authorities in this regard. And even without doing anything, I know by the time they present their petitions, the court and INEC, of course, will look at who are the people petitioning the outcome of this election. Do they really have the locus to put forward such a petition? At the end of the day, if care is not taken, they will meet their Waterloo at the petition. The security agencies will do their job at that particular point in time. But meanwhile, we are looking at the possibilities of writing to the relevant authorities. But our position remains firm, and the outcome of the election is not something we intend to contest. In fact, based on our own assessment of the whole exercise, we feel INEC and the security agencies should be commended for having a hitch-free exercise in the FCT.
All right, let's return to Dr. Haroun. During the 2023 general election, the Labour Party actually won in the FCT. And we know that in the build-up to the 2026 FCT council elections also, we saw some party bigwigs, talk about Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, all hitting the street to campaign for candidates of their party, the ADC. So what would you say has changed between the 2023 elections and now, looking at the results of this particular poll?
Peter Obi is what changed between then and now. Labour Party was living on Peter Obi's glory, the obedient, but they have lost their momentum. I will give you a good example. In 2023, when Peter Obi was walking to the airport, and there's an eyewitness who saw him, and there was a massive support for him, and it was organic. But now, 2026, Peter Obi walked to the airport, and nobody did as if they knew him. And that is the same thing with Labour Party. So Peter Obi was the pendulum that was driving Labour Party force in 2023, and that was why they won FCT and other states, about 8 states in Nigeria.
But now that pendulum is in another state. That pendulum is in another party, rather. Why is it not swinging again?
Because he has lost momentum. The obedience are not comfortable with him. Well, if I should say, then they are hearing that he's trying to go as a VP and Atiku as a president. These are still rumors, but this is what is most likely to happen, because we cannot have a waziri in a political party and he wouldn't take the president seat. Even PDP knows, my gentleman knows this. And I'm happy that he is not going to court, because he's just going to serve money to the lawyers. It's a wasted effort if you are going to court. So Peter Obi was the factor driving Labour Party in 2023, and that was why they were able to win the FCT. But now they can't win it because, firstly, they have seen that Peter Obi himself is not consistent in his political 93, which he worked with Abiola, is the same renewed hope. He is campaigning even after 2023. That is what you call consistency. So that is the driving force and that is the main difference between a Peter Obi and an Asiwaju. Consistency. Somebody is not consistent. Within just few years, he has changed from ABGA to PDP to Labour Party to ADC. Maybe before next year or again, he's going to change to NNPP. I don't know. But Asiwaju has always been progressive for over 30 years. And this is what Nigerians need. A consistent leader that will deliver to us.
All right, Dr. Haroun, we're wrapping up the conversation. Mr. Mohammed, just a final take now. What is your word, to winners of this particular election, and especially your own party, as we count down to the 2027 general election?
Well, I want to appeal to our members of the PDP and Nigerians generally that they should not despair. PDP is an alternative platform, and PDP will provide the necessary platform where credible leadership will emerge. I want to tell Nigerians that PDP is still solid, PDP is still strong despite all the problems we are facing. But the storm is almost over, and we call on all our aggrieved party members to have a rethink and join us as we plan to hold a national convention. And whatever it is that is happening to the party is just temporary, and we shall overcome it, and we shall give APC a run for their money.
Gentlemen, it's been an honor having you both on the program today. National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Jungudu Mohammed, and Public Affairs Analyst Yusuf Haroun. Thank you so much for your time on Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's our show for today. Thank you for being a part of it. Watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and at 6 a.m. I am